guys, welcome back. I am so excited to dive into today's topic. I'm going to be talking all about how to shoot well in camera so that you can edit 5 times faster. I'm going to dive right in. Today I have 3 tips for you. Tip number 1 is to always shoot so that your background and your foreground, so your subject, so whoever you're taking pictures of, so that they are in even lighting. So that means that your clients aren't standing in a giant spot of sun and then the background is totally dark behind them, or the other way around where your clients are in shade but your background is way brighter or way darker than your clients. You want to make sure that your lighting is super even in the background and in the foreground so that it's going to be a lot easier to edit and you're not going to have to go over and make just your clients brighter or just your background brighter, and you can just increase or decrease the exposure like you need to in post-processing. So that's going to save you a lot of time. It really comes down to finding a good location with good lighting, and honestly, finding good lighting before you even find a good location. If you can get both of them, that's awesome. But if you are shooting in really good lighting, that's going to make your job 3 times more easier when you're editing your pictures. Tip number 2 is to make sure that you're avoiding distractions while you're shooting in camera. So what I mean by that is if you have your clients in a location and you notice that there's a trash can in the background, you want to either make sure that you're moving it out of the way if you can, or that you're positioning yourself in a way where you can easily crop it out in camera, or you're going to make it easy for you to crop it out in post-processing. So you really want to avoid having your couples half of their body overlapping the trash can in the background. Or I always have to think about this when I'm shooting around power lines are really common, or a street light or something like that. You want to make sure that your clients are positioned in the frame so that the light post, you can either crop it out in camera, or if you're taking a wide horizontal picture, it's kind of to the side, and that their heads and their bodies aren't overlapping with it, because that is super distracting. And it's really hard to go back with that spot tool and get it edited out of the image. Alright, tip number 3 is really my biggest tip for shooting in a way that is going to make your editing a lot faster in the long run. Tip number 3 is to make sure that 1, you're shooting in manual, but 2, that you're shooting with manual white balance. So white balance is the thing that's determining how blue or yellow, how warm your images are in camera. And when I go to do this manually on my camera, I'm using a mode called Kelvin and adjusting the Kelvin for every single different location that I'm in. So Kelvin is really just that white balance scale. If you're in Lightroom, you see, I think it's called temperature, right? And it's that little slider that goes from blue to yellow. If you pay really close attention, there's actually numbers associated with how warm or cool your image is, and those are the same numbers that are Kelvin numbers that you can control in your camera while you're shooting. So I always take a couple of test shots before I start to pose my clients, and I let them know I'm just setting my camera setting. If you're shooting in auto white balance, your camera is actually choosing that white balance for every single picture that you take. So to the naked eye, you might not notice a difference in what the sun looks like, and if you're editing your images, you might take an image 1 second and then take an image the second, and if you're on auto white balance, one might look slightly bluer or slightly more yellow than the other. So that's why I choose to shoot on manual white balance, so that I am telling my camera, okay, you're going to dial in this one setting, and we're going to use this one setting for this one location. And if we switch to another location or a different spot, or it gets to be sunset, I will manually go in and change that white balance and take a couple of test shots so that it matches pretty much what my eye is seeing. Another really great thing about shooting in manual white balance is even if you mess the white balance up during the wedding day or at a shoot, say your white balance is super low, so it's 2,000 something and it should have been in the 5,000s. What's really great about that is you can change the white balance on one photo in Adobe Lightroom, and then you can sync it for that entire portion of a day, so that still, even if your white balance is off in camera, it's going to be 3 times faster to change it in Lightroom, because your camera isn't going to go and pick different white balances for every single photo. So this is my number 1 hack for speeding up your editing time in post-processing. So these are my best 3 tips for shooting well in camera so that you can edit super efficiently and get your images turned out around to your clients super quickly. They're gonna love their experience with you because you made them feel comfortable in front of the camera and because you're getting them their images back in record time. So if you have any questions from anything that I mentioned in today's video, be sure to drop a comment down below. Be sure to hit subscribe and find me on Instagram. I'm at Manali Sentake. I can't wait to chat more with you guys there. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye. What was I gonna say?